Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny. That is Dylan. That is Sal. I'm pointing in random spots because we're three guys that sit around and talk about your favorite superhero TV shows and movies. We do everything from trailer discussions, discussing the rumors, and we discuss reviews of each individual episode. And today we're going to be talking about Hawkeye Episode 4. If you want to join the Absolute Armada, you want to be a part of the army, then make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. Hawkeye Episode 4. The big cameo was not the one we all expected.
It also
the
wasn't
big cameo,
a post-credits thing.
No.
Yeah, that wasn't a post-credits either. So, quick recap of the episode. They basically have a nice heart-to-heart with the family. Hawkeye pulls the I'm an Avenger, she's helping me, gets out of everything. They discover that the dad is actually somehow connected to the Tracksuit Mafia, decide to they've tracked down the Rolex, which maybe one of you guys can remind me why that Rolex is important.
We don't know yet.
Okay,
we don't know.
Okay.
That's
okay.
totally
I thought
new.
maybe I missed something. Like, why is is that the time travel Rolex?
Hawkeye said it belonged to someone he used to work with, but has been out of the game for a while.
Yep. So it's Nick Fury's. In any case, we saw it in the first episode. Now we're seeing it paid off in this one. Rolex.
So anyway, she breaks into it by defying everything that he said. Gets that. We discover that's Maya's apartment. Then we discover our big cameo, which I do want to talk about real quick. The spoiler nature of our industry. Everyone freaking out. I don't know if you guys. So the big reveal there is Yelena Belova is the ninja assassin.
Yeah.
Did you see that she got banned on Instagram because people complained about her?
No. What?
So
what?
So the day the episode came out, she filmed her reaction to being on Hawkeye. Yelena Belova filmed the episode of Hawkeye and filmed her reaction to the reveal.
Okay.
She got complaints and they banned her Instagram temporarily and removed the post.
That's insane.
And her reaction is, so I can't be happy or proud that I'm in something?
Right? No, that's lame because first of all, who cares? Like, her cameo was like, did you see Black Widow? We knew she was going to do that.
Right.
And then the other one was, I don't know. It was just like, who cares? Like,
it was dumb. I 100% agree.
Come
Exactly. Let her be happy that she has done that. Why are we giving her a hard time?
Hardly spoiled the show.
Yeah.
Hardly. Finding it be...
Yeah, it's also like we knew when I think like a week after Black Widow came out, we talked about in our Black Widow review that Yelena was gonna be in Hawkeye because that was the thing.
The IMDb said that. Like,
then.
there's no way if you like watch or follow her Instagram and watch Hawkeye, you didn't also know she was going to be in the show.
I don't even know that actress's name, so it's not like I'm sitting here like, well, I better follow her Instagram to see what else she's in.
Yeah,
I didn't even really. She has a
great.
very thick accent. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Go watch Midsummer. She's great in that.
I've seen Midsommar.
I don't want to see.
Yeah,
I'm good.
She's the lady.
You and I should have a discussion about Midsommar because I think we have very different opinions on that movie.
That movie's fantastic. What are you kidding?
Exactly.
Awesome.
We should have a discussion on Midsommar at one point.
Oh no.
But anyway, she got so much crap for it, and I just found it hilarious because like the nature of spoilers in this industry. Like, look, okay, a great example. And if anybody spoils this, I'm going to kill you. But Final Fantasy XIV's final chapter came out. So I have been going crazy trying to finish this up to ensure that I was not finally spoiled because I should be finishing it in the next hour. So I don't think anyone can spoil it for me. Okay, but good. To ensure that I wasn't going to be spoiled, I unfollowed everything I have related to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It'll be there when I'm not spoiled and I finish.
Exactly.
Yeah. It does suck that we live in a world now where it's the impetus is on the person who doesn't want to get spoiled. But like I've taken similar measures where like I have on my Twitter, I have the word like spoiler or leak or like stuff like that. I have the word Star Wars muted just because I got really annoyed about Star Wars.
Fair.
But I've taken precautions as well, especially like muting the words leak and variations thereof and spoilers. I highly recommend doing that if you want to avoid
That's a good
stuff.
idea.
I mean, right now, just for those who are wondering, and yes, we're going to get to the Hawkeye thing in a discussion, but Spider-Man's premiere is going to be next Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm going to avoid my Twitter until I see that movie.
Yeah, I'm just not going to use my phone until the movie.
That's what I'm saying. So the fact that she got so much crap for the big reveal,
I think that sounds more like people were just mad at her as a person, or they were like mad for other reasons outside of being spoiled. That's pretty lame. As far as spoilers,
but they got her account banned, which is where I think it goes too far. It's one thing to be like,
that's
"Oh, did you see that she spoiled it?" It's another thing to get her banned. But okay, so the episode
classic
itself.
Instagram.
Let's go into the episode itself because we can have a whole discussion on this
Hawkeye.
in a separate video if we want to.
Yeah, Hawkeyes.
I loved this episode. The more
Same.
Kate is on screen with Clint, the more I want this to be a 9-season show.
Yeah,
They have such a good dynamic.
they do.
If Flash can make it 9 seasons, so can the Hawkeye show.
Well, Flash has made it 8 seasons. We'll see about a 9th.
Well, yeah, I think it's good. It's a good show.
What did you think about the family dynamic, which I thought was hilarious, where she's like, someone hacked into my computer 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, well it says here that it was you.
I think the family stuff was the one part in the episode that I felt like the dialogue and the acting was a little weird, but I think that
Yes.
might have been a choice.
Yes.
Just
I think
to
it was
make
supposed
us
to make you feel
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, because there's
It
the
was.
point where Kate starts smiling at them, like being all lovey, and I'm sitting there like, ugh, like
Yeah.
it just compounded more. So I think that was a choice.
Yeah.
Which hopefully, this is another concern I have for the show is like, especially with Yelena's cameo at the end, the show is starting to feel more like a staging ground for future stuff as opposed to like its own self-contained thing.
Which is what I liked about 1 through 3.
Right.
Yeah, but like the interesting thing is like, you know, we still have that scene in the middle where Kate goes over and spends like Christmas time with Clint, and
Yeah.
it's like you put that scene in there and then you do your MCU stuff at the end of the episode, and they're pulling double duty in a way that like is surprisingly like done well. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good balance, I think.
Well, I'm actually
yeah.
curious how much of the Yelena Belova stuff's going to come back and be a focal point, or if that, like you said, is just going to lead into the next thing.
I mean,
She might be
what is the
gone.
next? What's the next?
I don't think it's
thing
gone.
That's going to use Blonde, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. I don't know.
Season
They haven't
2.
announced anything that's. I mean, I guess season 2. Yeah. It's what's funny is all of the like double duty stuff, all of the MCU tethers, Echo and Black Widow, they feel kind of tacked on. Like,
Yeah, a little
I don't
bit.
know. Like Echo could be any. It's cool that it's Echo, and it's like if it's the MCU, you might as well make it a character. But
Yeah.
Echo is a character that like needs some context, or at the very least some explanation. And thankfully they provided that. But I feel like if you just wanted to make it a show about Hawkeye and some Hawkeyes and make it like part of the larger MCU by being like Rogers the musical and all this other stuff, go for it. But they're doing all this other heavy lifting where they're like, here's Echo. But if you wanted to keep it really like self-contained, Echo could have just been the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia and a story.
Well,
It's like,
I got a feeling the Echo tie is going to make more sense coming up soon, because I did find it a little weird that it's like, here's a notebook with your entire family on it, and it's Echo's apartment. Oh, like, I was just like, we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see how that connects.
Well, and we only have 2 more episodes left, and it's like,
Yeah.
you just introduced Black Widow now.
That's why I don't think she's going to be that important. I think she's going to show up. They're going to
She better be really important because
I think they're going to. I think what's going to happen is they're going to clear up that he did not kill Black Widow in the same way, which is going to be the reveal of his Ronin thing.
yeah.
But I think Yelena's going to help with the final fight, then go off on her own thing, or have her own tangent she's going to have to do.
Yeah, that feels kind of tacked on. Like, I feel like if you had set up Yelena chasing him since the first episode, it'd be like, who's this mysterious person looking after them? Like, there's always this element of tension. But instead, it's just like, oh, Black Widow's here. And she's the one from the movie. And hopefully you saw that. And like, who's going to buy that she died in the past on an alien planet? Like, what context can he possibly give her?
I had to explain that to my mother-in-law who's watching. She's like, who's that? And I'm like, well, and I pulled up the Disney Plus,
Watch Black
and I'm
Widow.
like, did you see this one?
No. But yeah, so it's cool, and it's very like Marvel now, and I'm like, yeah, all right. But also I'm like, you know, I hope she's important in this because you introduced her in the 4th
Right.
episode of a 6-episode show.
Yeah.
You know.
I could see that. I could see that complaint because she's been introduced so late. Why even introduce her other than...
Right, and especially if she's like, cool, you didn't kill her. Bye, gives whistle, jumps off building, you don't see her in
I
episode
like the...
6.
She's going to shoot the arrow. She's like, no.
Don't.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
Why
that was
didn't
fun.
she? How do you know her?
I'm worried about it just because a lot of these Disney Plus shows so far have in their like later episodes turned into, okay, this is a long post-credit scene basically.
Yeah.
And it's like that does get you excited for like the future of the MCU, but you can only be excited for the future of something so many times.
Yeah.
So like, but again, like I want to be clear, like they are, in my opinion, doing a good job of balancing that. But
Totally.
I just in a world where we have shows that kind of are always unsatisfying, where it's just what's next, what's coming next. It's like, I'm glad that we're getting those scenes where we get to see Kate and Clint's dynamic be like really, well portrayed.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, there's always that undercurrent of like, you introduce Black Widow in the second half of your show, and she might not come back, and if she does, why? You don't really need her. So
Right. You need to give a lot of context for like who she is, why she's there, where she comes from. Does he even know she exists?
If she never shows back up, the entire point was to show how the stakes have risen.
That's
true.
true.
That was his line.
Right.
You have a Black Widow
that
assassin
was a
on
Black
us now.
Widow.
Because he's like, no, we're done with this. You got to go. This is not. So if she never shows back up, then for people who did not see Black Widow, that's literally all it's there for.
That's pretty lame.
I agree. From a fanboy point of view, that is
Not
very
even a
lame.
fanboy, just like she needs closure. I'm not down for another thing where Yelena and Clint have to fucking fight or talk. Like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just this is like that post credit scene at the end of Black Widow where it's like, hey, Ronan killed your sister and it's Clint Barton. I was like, this is one of the lamest post credit scenes I've ever seen in a Marvel movie. Like, it's so like, who cares?
There's
like,
no way
like,
the post credit scene in Black Widow would have been any good other than her getting up. Cutting to the end
and
of
I think
Endgame.
that was actually a plan. Like, I think she was supposed to have another whistle happen, and they were like, "Oh, but like, no, not right now." Like, I don't know. That being said, good episode, lots of fun, really good.
Yeah, no, I had a blast with it.
We even got almost like a rooftop scene from the comic where like all those characters. There's only like 2 or 3, but still, like some fun characters were in the apartment, including Grills. Like, all right, cool.
I loved the moment where he's like, go home, and lets her go. And she just walks up the stairs. I'm like, did he really
like,
think
no.
she wasn't? Did he really think she was
Also,
just
I
going
do
to walk
wanna-
away?
That's great.
I pointed this out in the Easter egg short that I did for the channel, but I want to mention it here again for anyone that didn't see that. I really like the character moments that they're doing, that they're weaving into action, because normally the action's just like, okay, now it's action time, and they just fight and nothing happens, but like the specific moments where they decided to choreograph it in a way that would lead to Kate falling off of a building and reminding Clint of Black Widow falling off of Vormir. It's like, oh, that's good. And keeping up, it's subtle, which I like. Because I remember the first episode we talked about wanting to continue them dealing with Clint's trauma in interesting ways, and this is at least something. And they're like, in this episode they deal with it very clearly, like to the point where like he confesses his guts to Kate, and then Black Widow's sister shows up. So
that's true.
It's like they know what they're doing.
That all being linked together earns the Belova cameo, in my opinion.
Yes.
I agree with that. So that's very cool. I'm okay with that.
I really enjoyed the back and forth over the comms. That was one of my favorite moments. Where she's like, I need your help. And he's like, no, I'm fighting Maya over here. And they're having that back and forth. I know it was like 2 minutes and it was super quick, but some of my favorite stuff is the banter between them and the stuff like that happens.
That's the highlight of this show. And I think in either last week or the week before, we talked about how, Hawkeye, the Kate and Clint Hawkeye books usually always are just their dynamic and also something else is happening.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what this show has been so far. Yeah. Which, good on them for nailing that and making it as strangely comic accurate as it has been. Especially
it's a buddy cop show about a young girl and an old grizzled like ex-CIA guy.
You can tell they were like, we have to make this Hawkeye show. Like, that's what we've decided to do. We don't have any plans or ideas or thoughts about Hawkeye as a character. We have no designs for him in the future. Let's just take the comic book and do that. Like, it's one of those times because like the MCU literally like they'll go like, let's take the comic book and flip it on its ear, or I was a huge fan of this comic book and I'm gonna give my own interpretation. This one they're like, just do the book. Like that'll just save us a whole bunch. Just do that.
I mean, there's only like what,
to
2
appease
books
the studio execs, put Black Widow in it and some other characters. Put Kingpin in it for 2 seconds.
Well, and that'll make like. And that'll make Sal happy. Like, yeah, put Kingpin in there for half a second.
That'll make Sal happy. They're sitting there. So Comic Pop, we need them all happy.
We gotta make them on board. Yeah,
how do we make Comic Historian rant for a moment?
Exactly.
How do we get that John Campa guy to make a big news article?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So what do you guys think going forward? I'm still excited about this. I loved this episode.
This show.
Yeah, it's a great show. My question is the last 2 episode conclusion going to be one movie, or is it going to be like they're actually going to keep doing the episodic thing where it's like this is a little self-contained thing and it dovetails into the next episode, but it's still going to be, or is it going to be just like they just shot one episode that's double length and they cut it in the middle?
I think what they're, because the interesting thing is the Disney Plus shows are clearly very uninterested in time constraints, but it's only been like, we've had shorter episodes. We haven't really had much longer episodes.
No.
Yeah.
They'll break them in 2.
So I doubt it's going to go in that
kind of what I do
direction.
on my channel, where I'm like, oh, I could do an hour video or 3 20-minute videos.
Exactly. But I if I had to guess, if I were a betting man, I would say Swordsman is not going to get wrapped up. We're going to have a confrontation between Yelena and Hawkeye, and that's going to be tied up in sort of a bow. Mm-hmm. And then Echo, at the end of the show, is going to be Echo meeting someone, whether it be Kingpin, whether it be Daredevil. It's going to put her in the position.
What if it's Daredevil? We've all thought about Kingpin. What if Charlie Cox just shows up? I need to talk to you.
That'd be great.
I feel like they're not going to do that. They'd have to have the Daredevil costume pinned down. I don't think they're going to use the one from the show.
No,
that's fair.
This could be the reveal, though. This could be the reveal. But
well, Charlie Cox could just show up in a suit. Like,
but they've done that so far. Like, we'll see. But I think we're definitely going to get that in She-Hulk and Spider-Man. So it's like, one more time, Charlie Cox, wear this suit and yell at the protagonist, tell them to stop talking. That's your whole thing.
Well, we are absolutely Marvel and DC. Stop talking! We are absolutely Marvel and DC. If you like this type of content and you want to see our review next week, make sure you hit subscribe, and join us every week for our reviews of everything happening in the world of movies and TV shows for superheroes. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.